thank you all for coming today. Can you believe this is our 7th Mayor's Business Roundtable? When I started counting up, I was like, holy moly, this is awesome. I'm so happy to have you all here. My name is Lori Medina, and I am Mayor Cheney's Chief of Staff. And I'm just so pleased that you have decided to come today to talk about a special subject, corporate social responsibility. We have 3 amazing leading experts to talk about that, and we have a room full of local nonprofits. What more fun could we have with that? But first, I want to thank just a couple of people. I want to thank the Sci-Tech Discovery Center for hosting this. Now, next, I want to introduce you the moderator for today. It's going to be Wendy McGowan Ellis. If you don't know Wendy, you should. Wendy is the CEO and co-founder of Lifestyle Frisco. Wendy and her creative team are the ones that tell you what to do, where to go, and who to know in Frisco. Don't we all want to know that, right? Anyway, so without further ado, Wendy, this is not made for short girls with dresses, by the way. We needed a chair. Anyway, here's Wendy.
Thank you. Yeah, absolutely. Thank you so much. So welcome, everyone, today. Happy almost Valentine's Day. Mwah. So I'm thrilled that we're here today in the Sci-Tech Discovery Center. This place is amazing. So today our discussion will be all about CSR, corporate social responsibility. First we have Mayor Cheney. Come on up, please. Next is Jennifer Chandler. Jennifer is the Dallas Market President for U.S. Trust, Bank of America Private Wealth Management. Thank you, Jennifer. Next is Mike Goss. Mike is the General Manager, Social Innovation of Toyota Motors of North America and the President of the Toyota USA Foundation. And then finally, we have a Frisco resident, Gabrielle Madison. Gabrielle is the Director of Community Relations with Thomson Reuters. And first, I would like to give Mayor Cheney the opportunity to make some remarks. So, Mr. Mayor.
All right. Well, thank you, Wendy. Let's give Wendy and, of course, Lori, who did all the hard work getting ready for today. Let's give them a big round of applause. You know, why is it important for corporate giving? And why it's important for me, and why this initiative and this mission is important for the city of Frisco. And the reasons are easy, which is, you know, as mayor, of course, I want Frisco to be the #1 place in America to live. We all know it is, but why is that? City government, the mayor, the council, city employees, there's only so much that we can do. And there's so many needs of this community. And today, my big takeaway that I hope you have is you saw the 60-plus nonprofits that support this community. That when we say it takes a village really to create a great community, that was the visual representation of what it takes to build a great city. And it's not me doing it, it's not our city council doing it, it's you. It's all of you that are spending your time, talent, and treasure to give back to the city of Frisco. For many people, it's your time. And that's the most valuable thing that you can give to an organization. Of course, your talents, all these unique talents that people have that a nonprofit couldn't pay for. There's no way they could hire a lot of the people like you and your talent skill sets, but you donate it. Or, of course, your treasure, which they all need to operate daily, as far as donations and so forth. And so all the needs that you saw being filled from animals to social services to kids, that is what expands the services of the city of Frisco, what enables a job like me as mayor to build an incredible community. And that's why it's so important for me to support these missions and why I hope you support them too.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. And that's an excellent segue right into my first question. So we all know that corporate social responsibility is important, but and we're just going to go down the line, and Jennifer, we'll start with you. How has and why has your company decided to take that to the next level? That's why you're on this panel. So tell us about that.
Thank you so much for having me. And I have to, before I answer that question, tell you how much my kids love coming here. This is a great place, and I just think you've done a wonderful job with all of the museums here, so thank you for hosting us. Had to put a plug in for my kids. But to answer your question, we are very blessed at Bank of America, and it has been really ingrained with our culture for many, many years. So this is something that's near and dear to our associates' hearts. We feel that it drives the culture of our organization. So while we're very focused on our clients, we know the day-to-day focus around our communities, where our clients live, where we work, and we play, to your point, we'll do more of. It's important that we're giving back to the community. So we do that through a number of measures. The funds are obviously important, treasure, to your point. But I will tell you, organically, the volunteer piece is also very important to us. We do it because it's the right thing to do, but there's a lot of great information that tells us how rewarding it is to our associates, how much they gain from that, and how much it makes us a better company. So I would argue we do it because it's the right thing to do, but there's many data points, and we can dive into that no further in the discussion as well, that it's the right thing to do, and we're a better run company for it.
Same question?
Yes.
Okay.
Go ahead, Michael.
So, Mayor, by the way, I'm about to say a lot about my age, but my game of choice was Pong. Yes. So, there's someone else from the 60s, I think. So, first of all, thank you so much for welcoming Toyota into your community with open arms. As you can imagine, a corporate move is not easy. I came from Kentucky and actually left my family behind for so they can take care of themselves. So it's been a difficult transition for a lot of us, but made so much easier by the warmth here. So thank you for that. I ran CSR at our manufacturing headquarters in Kentucky. We had the sales guys in Torrance, California doing their own thing. We had a corporate office in New York doing its own thing. We were not aligned. We were writing a lot of checks to a lot of charities, and it made us feel good, but we actually didn't know if we were having any impact. So bringing us all here together gave us the opportunity to look at the world differently. And we are really trying to address social issues that also address our company issues. So we're trying to achieve shared value. If you want to learn about shared value, my staff makes fun of me. I took a Harvard business class with Michael Porter there, and I have a t-shirt to prove it. But he says that government has a role, nonprofits have a role, but business has most of the resources really necessary to bring to bear to solve problems. In our case, we have talent pipeline issues at our plants, at our R&D centers, at our dealerships. So we are working hard in the community space to try to help build that talent pipeline. Our foundation, which I run, is all about STEM. That's one of the tools I have. At the same time, we recognize that we are a car company and that there's a lot of mobility needs so that people can access the education they want and then the good careers that are out there. Then we recognize that sometimes another obstacle to achieving a good career or basic human needs need to be met. A lot of kids in poor areas like the south side of Dallas go to school hungry every day. You can imagine they're not learning very well. So we're taking a holistic approach to look at all phases of this and see how it works together to ladder up to a good education and a good career. It's challenging. You saw these nonprofits here, so imagine the pressure on the three of us to listen to them and try to see how they fit in with our strategies, and often we have to say no to a lot of people, so it's a challenge. And I think we need a lot more partners to do this kind of work and work together holistically to solve these issues.
Gabrielle?
So again, thank y'all for having us. We love Sci-Tech Discovery Center. That's going to come up later. But I know a lot of you all may not know Thomson Reuters, so just a quick 30-second about Thomson Reuters. Many of you have heard of Reuters News, and that is who we are. That's a part of who we are, but it's only like 12% of what we do. The other 88% of what we do is software. We create technology software for lawyers, for accountants, and those in between to help them better manage their customers. So we are not what you're going to see from a consumer perspective, but if you're in those fields, you would know products like Westlaw or OneSource. Those are our standalone products that most people know. But around CSR, so Reuters News has been around, believe it or not, for over 150 years. We were the first to report that Abe Lincoln had been shot, which is crazy that we've been around that long. But over 35 years ago, they started a foundation within the Reuters family, and it was really focused on, it's kind of sound funny in the age we're in right now, but it was focused on making sure that the journalists were trained on non-biased media. We still have that crux of the foundation in place. We do 60 to 70% of the media training that's done, that people take advantage of, is done through Reuters Foundation, the Thomson Reuters Foundation. And about 10 years ago, we changed CEOs, and she decided to focus more around 3 other pillars, that being human trafficking, and really trying to stop human trafficking and exposing through our journalists where human trafficking was happening. She also decided to focus on corruption that's going on domestically and internationally. And then her third piece was food sustainability. Food sustainability was such in disarray 10 years ago, and it was not being exposed, and our journalists started to really uncover what was going on. And so because of her foresight to do this, lots of things have changed. She also started Trust Women's Conference, which is an international conference with Pulitzer Prize winners, Nobel Peace Prize winners coming together to really make change happen. So for us, CSR is threaded into what we do. It's who we are. I will say a personal story. When I'd never heard of Thomson Reuters, like many of you all, before I interviewed, and so I'm doing my research on who this company is, and all I could see was like all these great things they were doing. They were cleaning water in different places. They were bringing food to places that had food scarcity issues. And so it wasn't really until my third interview, I was like, is this what y'all do? I mean, it seems like this is all you do. They're like, no, we really create software. And I was like, oh, I didn't get that part. But that just goes to show you, like, we definitely have to make money. We are a for-profit company. But a lot of what we do is to help and to give back. And how can we use what we're doing to have a positive impact on the world?
Excellent. So I'm going to keep it with you, Gabrielle, and we can move back this way. Is communicating your CSR strategy difficult to get that across to your board, your shareholders, your key executives?
It's actually not. Our board actually requires a report on this. In our annual report, we have a CSR report that comes in there, and they want to know what have we done. It's everything from how many hours that we volunteered from our employees, who's been impacted in the communities that we're in, how much money has the company given to different organizations and why, and what did that money do? Where was the impact? So they look for us to help. They look for us to make our communities that we're in better. So for us, it's natural.
Same here. One of the pillars of the Toyota Way is respect for people. And so that's always the way we try to treat our communities. And it's especially easier now that I can show the CEO that our work can benefit the company with talent pipeline development, better engagement of our team members, and all of those things.
No, it's not a challenge for us at all. It's something, in fact, we truly enjoy communicating about our commitment in the community. So I would say for our board, I would agree with you completely. It's very much expected. It's how we run our business. So we take that to a very detailed level around the impact we're having. To your point, we're often really looking closely at the organizations we're funding and how impactful they are. We're so blessed in this community to have so many great organizations, and we do align and look at our communities holistically, as you mentioned as well. So we are going back to the board, communicating that work and looking at organizations that are effective. I have to bring it down to the local level, though, and just tell you what you see and hear and breathe in the offices here is a ton of energy around this. So at Bank of America, it's very organic. we love to put on our red shirts and come out on a Saturday and make a change. And that's something, while we talk about it at a global level, that you very much feel as part of the culture. So it's something we love to communicate about. And again, we're focused on the key priorities for us. Economic mobility is a key priority for us. We're obviously here to make financial lives better, and when we look at communities, we need to make sure that they're vibrant, and we have the workforce of the future. And so our giving and our focus is around that. But to tell the message, again, it's very organic, and many of our events are actually oversubscribed. We did over 300 service projects last year in North Texas, and those filled immediately when we offered those volunteer opportunities. So I think that's pretty telling.
Okay, so Jeff, the Cheney Group gives back. Do you want to talk about that? Let's talk about that.
Yeah, I was going to say it's easy to get board approval at being a small business because my board consists of one, which is Dana Cheney, and she's very supportive. But yeah, I mean, it's really important. I mean, I think the message that I wanted to make sure resonated with people, because there's always these big asks in the community. And I think a lot of people and business leaders, feel like they have to give corporate responsibility or donations because they have to. And of course, the answer is, they should want to. And it's okay to have kind of selfish gain from it. I think that makes it really important and makes it passionate for people. And so the concept that we, talk about is what's called, smart partnering. So, for instance, at the Cheney Group, I'll give a shout out to my guys. Where y'all at? Be loud. All right, they're all out here. So, one of our big corporate cultures is, we all are active. We love fitness, and it's just an important part of who we are as a company. It's important to me. I feel it's important to my employees. They all share that same mission. We've got Nikki and Lewis who teach at Cowboy Fit. We've got Allison who's just got her yoga certification, is going to start teaching that. But everyone works out, and I make sure they work out. And so for us to support missions like that, so essentially every 5K in town, you're going to see a Cheney Group tent there. The big star, we were at their big kickoff this last week supporting them. I mean, those are really easy partnerships, to have. And quite frankly, I hope it leads to a connection that leads to a client. And that's okay. And I think that's the part that a lot of people miss, which is, it's okay to have these smart partnerships because, then you're going to be passionate about it. You're going to continue to support it. And people are going to, buy into what you're doing. And so I think that's what we try to do. Now, you had mentioned it's hard to say no. Of course, we're very visible in the community. So all 60 organizations that you saw walk across the stage, I think when they have their fundraising meeting, the first person on the list will call Jeff Cheney. And we obviously can't give to every organization, certainly. And so we try to lay out those missions, which is, we love to support.
I have to tell you that Dana tried.
I know.
She was caught for fraud on your credit card.
Yeah, she did. Yeah, that's a true story. So she started going to every organization to donate $14, and then my credit card got cut off, and I got a fraud alert this afternoon that I had to call and resolve. So that's how I spent my morning. But for us, we said, okay, we're going to support things like that for fitness, and we love to support education. So an easy thing that for us to do is, Dana and I were the first people to join every PTA in Frisco. Something our PTA president said was something they wanted to try to roll out. We were the first people to do it. It was just our way to say we support the mission of all the PTAs here in Frisco, and now a lot of people have followed suit in that. So, it's really easy for us to support however we can. A lot of it's money like that. A lot of it is our time. You're going to see the Cheney Group, someone there at every event in Frisco, and if there's an event that happens and someone from our company is not there, I want to hear about it. But we're just blessed. We know the community that we live in, and we know we're blessed to be able to work here and serve here.
Excellent. So when your companies commit to a nonprofit, Jennifer, Michael, and Gabrielle, do y'all see a difference between a financial-only support strategy and strategies where your employees are involved? And tell us what happens and which is better.
I wouldn't say one is better or worse,
Okay.
right? They're just different, and they complement each other very well. I will tell you, when we have our associates out volunteering hands-on, that's where we see a great deal of impact and benefit to our associates. And they tell us this through their actions. So whether we commit financially or not, if we've aligned with an organization, whether that's here locally or globally, our volunteers, our associates fall in love with that organization, and they will go back and they'll give personally to that organization. They'll give of their time and their treasures. So I do think the volunteer piece is incredibly important for that ripple effect that it has on an organization. The dollars, obviously, all the folks in the room know how important that is. For you to get right down to your mission, we understand completely the value of those funds and how you're effectively using them. So we see them as a complement to each other, and we work very closely to align, again, the hands-on activities along with the financial support that we're providing.
Yeah, I'll be blunt. I'm no longer interested in just the transactional relationship because I feel like companies like Toyota have so many more assets and resources to offer. So we want to engage our team members, and that helps our company as well. We incentivize them, we match their contributions, but we want them to get out and get their hands dirty. We're also interested in building up the capabilities of our nonprofits so they can do their jobs better, if that makes sense. And I want to tell you about something that really, I think, differentiates us from a lot of other companies. We share, we're known for building cars pretty with high quality and efficiently and good safety rates, low cost. And so the Toyota production system is much admired around the world. And over the years, companies and nonprofits have asked us for that. And a few years ago, we formalized it. We now have a small division of the company that shares TPS with U.S. industry and nonprofits. We're literally helping some U.S. companies stay alive in the United States instead of losing to overseas competitors in cheap labor markets or themselves chasing cheap labor. And they're in fact growing their businesses. And we only charge them our actual time and expenses. We're not making money at this. And so we're a lot cheaper than lean consultants. If any of you are lean consultants, apologies. But getting Toyota production systems straight from the horse's mouth is a pretty special thing, especially for nonprofits who can't afford lean consultants. Just a couple of examples. North Texas Food Bank, we help them optimize the way they use their volunteers and the way they process food. Parkland Hospital in Dallas, we've helped them reduce emergency room. If you ever have to go to the emergency room at Parkland, it's a whole day experience. So we've helped them cut a couple hours out of that. We've helped children's hospitals around the country, including one here, eliminate post-surgical infection rates that were literally killing children just by process improvements. So if you want to talk to me more about this, we're anxious to find more companies and nonprofits to support. That's one thing that we really have to offer that I think is really special. Sorry to be so long-winded.
Wonderful.
It's hard to follow him sometimes.
No kidding.
But I agree totally with Mike. We have reduced significantly our financial-only contributions. We have empowered our employees through our new, well, not new so much now, but we have enlisted our employees to tell us what they want to do with the dollars. So each employee is equipped with an amount of money that they can actually utilize with their nonprofit organization of choice. They can also collaborate with other employees, and they can all get together and support that nonprofit. And so we've given the power really back to our employees for the most part. And then for those kind of more corporate-sized gifts that we give, we have a lot more than just one person being involved. We have several people that are going to be engaged, and it's most of the time our leadership to help drive whatever that initiative is. Most of that is around STEM education, around social determinants of health. Those are the things that we know that are impacting our employees worldwide, and we want to make sure that we're doing everything we can to support that.
So most of the attendees in the room here are either senior business leaders or business owners. What advice do you have for them if they don't have a CSR strategy in place at their company? How do they get that started?
I'm actually going to let Mike take this because I'm actually going to steal his CEO's answer that he has. So, because this is not what we're doing.
Okay, so the question again is?
Just if I'm a company
advice for the CEO,
how do
okay.
you get it started?
Well, I think a starting point is, what are your company needs? Because I think those company needs will align with community needs, like ours does with the talent pipeline. And then the other thing I think is, what is it you do best that the community needs? I just talked to you about Toyota Production System. That's what we do best, and sharing it is having a huge impact. So I think there's a funny TV commercial right now that says, stay in your lane. Some tattoo artist. But I think if you share what you do really well, the impact on your business and the community can be profound.
I would just say it's, if you're a business owner, you've got to include this in what you're doing. It's the right thing to do, and you've got to do it with thought and rigor. So for us in particular, again, we talk about it, it's part of our culture. We also offer 2 hours a week for associates to take time to volunteer. And we don't just publish that in some kind of employee handbook. It's something we talk a lot about and encourage. I would also say it has to come from the top down. For us, being out in the red t-shirt means all of us at the top of the house as well. So if you're a senior leader or you're the CEO of the company, it's one thing to say we care about this. It's another thing to be out providing that sweat equity. And I think being there in person yourself is incredibly important. And then again, that rigor around where you want to fund, where you want to focus your priorities, that's to benefit all of the organizations and it's to benefit your firm. So again, for us, we look at key priorities around the globe. Again, economic mobility, we look at what other work's being done in the community to really understand what is our place where we can be most effective. And the better job we can do communicating that to the 60 nonprofits in the room, the better off we are as a community. So really focus on what are the priorities, to your point, what matters to your company, to your community. Know what those are, articulate them well, and that will increase your impact. And then lastly, I would say we all have to be thinking about the workforce of the future. So not just preparing that workforce, but also attracting that talent. We very much know that not everybody grows up saying, I want to be a banker. I think doctor, lawyer, I think banker's a little bit lower on that list. So to your point, when you were going to work for the first time, you could hear the story. And so we talk a lot about the fact that at Bank of America, you're going to have plenty of opportunity to be out in the community, volunteering, doing the things you love that are important to you and your family. And I think this is going to continue to be really important if we look at the next generation coming up. They're really going to want to know your company is focused on this and provides the flexibility for them to be giving back in the community.
I'll just add one thing to that. It's great advice, but the thing that I would say is find the things that your employees are passionate about or your customers are passionate about. I mean, obviously being in real estate, all of our clients, the first thing they ask us is about schools. And so we know that's a passion of our clients. And so that's why we love to support Frisco ISD and the surrounding school districts because it's important to our clients and our customers. When we rolled out our veterans initiatives here in Frisco, there was a lot of things that happened. We had no idea were going to happen. But one of the things that was most profound is companies started coming to us and saying, we are a company that hires veterans. It's an important part of our culture. How do we get involved with this? Because it's important to our employees, which means it's important to us. And so finding the passions of your employees, the workforce is changing. We meet with all these companies now, and it's really evolved over the last 10 years. Where quite frankly, even at these high-level discussions of a company relocation, the HR director is now at the table. They're looking at things and saying, what are you going to offer my employees? What's going to be their experience going to be? But a big part of it too is, what are the initiatives that you support as a community? I had one CEO that said, we won't even consider moving to your city unless you have a very strong special needs program, because one of my executives has a special need child and I want to show to him that he matters to our company, and that's going to be a big part of our relocation. So, of course, Frisco has all those kinds of things to support his family. Became a really important tool in their business relocation. And so that shows your employees something that you care, shows your clients that you care, so find the things that they're passionate about.
Can you all tell us a story about your favorite nonprofit partnership experience?
It's a tough one. I would say during times of disaster, so whether it was Katrina or Harvey or a situation we didn't plan for, to know that the community can pick up the phone and call Bank of America and mobilize 300, 400 people, whether it's a drive for goods, if it's funds, if it's support. The fact that an organization of our size can be that nimble and everybody rolls up their sleeves and gets out there to support, I think would be one of the most compelling in Harvey most recently. But I would say during those times of really important, disaster situations where we need to be nimble and to be able to move that many people has been pretty. And it's emotional to even think about because, again, within hours, the nature of our organization with over 200,000 people is to start the process. What do we do? How do we dive in? How do we help? And the great thing is we have the structure to do that and move quickly.
One of the first things we did when we got here, because everyone was coming after us, the deep pockets of Toyota. So we invited hundreds of local nonprofits, educators, NGOs, to come to a meeting, and we laid out our strategy and direction. And that same day, and I preach this all over the country because I talk to a lot of nonprofits at conferences, that we actually, speaking for business, we need the nonprofits to work together because collectively they can have more impact. And so we decided at this event to announce an impact grant of $1 million. And we invited 3 to 5 nonprofits to come together to make an application. And we loosely billed it as mobility focus. And we got 40 plus applications times 5 nonprofits. And the winner was what we now call the Collin County Mobility Collaborative. It's 5 charities who individually addressed certain phases of homelessness for women and their children. But now by working together, we can make sure these women don't fall between the cracks of housing, mobility, education, career placement, and childcare, which is so important. And we're going to be able to track these 40 women and their kids to make sure we're having impact and adjust along the way. I'm really proud of that group and the way they've come together and learned how to work together. And that's what a lot of companies are looking for, is how the nonprofits can come together instead of competing separately for our dollars.
For Thomson Reuters, started thinking about the workforce and the talent that we were needing and the talent we weren't getting. And so we started thinking, when is this talent actually being impacted in regards to the future of their careers? And we also started thinking about how many people are not even having exposure at the age that they need to have to make a decision about their future, this being in Texas around the 8th grade, to be able to say, hey, I want a career or explore a career in STEM or any technology, software, anything of that nature. And so we decided we need to start doing things that impact these kids early on. We can't wait until they've graduated from high school. We can't try to recruit them when they're in college. We have to start talking to them and helping them to understand what the reality and the options are for them way earlier than that. And we took it a step further, and we decided, with the poverty rates as high as they are in the communities that Thomson Reuters is in, how can we start to impact the poverty rates? And who could we start to target and come alongside to help us to change those people's futures? And so in 3 communities that we have a heavy presence in, Dallas being one of them, Ann Arbor, Michigan, another one, and our largest location where we have 6,000 employees, Minneapolis, St. Paul, we started working in schools, in the middle schools, to try to change those directions of students and their families, to expose them to more STEM opportunities, more opportunities outside of just what they were seeing, which were only a few: teachers, janitors, and restaurants, fast food restaurants. So in that, and that's been almost 5 years ago, we're starting to see the impact of what we've invested in. And we're excited that there are changes to the numbers, that there are more kids going into STEM-related fields, and that there are programs in each of these communities that we're in supporting us to make that happen.
Wonderful. Oh.
Wanted to add one thing, and the big numbers are so important to us. We're giving, over 3 million last year in this community, over 180,000 volunteer hours. But it's just hearing you reminded me of the getting it down to the individual. And I have to share this one story. But we were giving out backpacks at the Mayor's Back to School Fair last year. We're handing them out to these children in need. And I look over to the Bank of America volunteer, and she has tears coming down her face. And I pulled her to the side and asked, if she was okay. And she said, I was on the other side of that table. So she had been on the other side and now is working her way up in our organization. And that's just one story. We have many stories like that. So to your point, we're looking at the numbers and the impact, but it's so rewarding to start to see those stories where those individuals who we supported are now part of our organization. So just had to share that one.
That's wonderful. So now it's y'all's turn. Who has a question for any of the panelists or for all of them? Yes, ma'am.
Thank you to the panel. I am Leslie Keating. I serve on the board of Make-A-Wish, and my question is, what is the best way for nonprofits to come to you, to interact with you? And then a follow-on question, you spoke a bit about it, but what are the qualities that are most important to you in nonprofits?
Before I pass it, Leslie stole my thunder because I was going to answer the other question, which is the things that stuck out to me. So when you asked the question, 2 things came top of mind, and one was I've had the opportunity to participate in 2 wishes that were granted here in Frisco. Man, you talk about changing your perspective on life. Go grant a wish for a child and the things that they've gone through as part of that program, and how brave they are. And of course, Dana and I are blessed with 3 healthy children like most of you. We take it for granted every single day. And so to be able to kind of see that and see joy was the first thing that came top of mind. One was just 2 weeks ago, playing hockey against the Dallas Stars, so incredible organization. The second one was Hope Park here in Frisco. So Hope Park, if you've never heard of it, is a special needs park designed for children of all abilities. And it was actually built by the community of Frisco. So private fundraising, the city put a little bit of money into it, but then all the residents of Frisco showed up over 2 to 3 weeks and built this park with their own hands. It's incredible. And I can still go and look at the 2 ladders that I built on a slide, and they are terrible. I mean, I misdrilled the holes. I put it on backwards and had to take it off, and you can see all my messy work. But to me, I go there and can say with a sense of pride, like, I built this. Yes, it looks terrible, but the kids love it still. And that's all over that park. And so that was a really special moment for this community.
So it's a great question. I think you have to be very thoughtful from your perspective as well, just to be mindful of staff time, and we appreciate that. So we are blessed to have a robust team. In fact, I have Emily Leday here with me today, who is our market executive and our local manager who helps facilitate a lot of the grant requests. So we have a very detailed process around the grant requests, so we ask that you follow that. We also provide opportunities to really understand how to make sure your organization is running smoothly. You talked about that as well. So whether it's our Neighborhood Builders Award, with that grant, you're going to be able to receive some additional training and oversight to help you run your organization better. We also do a philanthropic study that we release every 2 years. Many of you come to that forum. So we would ask that you're always looking, just as we are, how to make sure you're operating in an effective manner. We love to be able to measure impact. That's helpful as well. So it's all the things I'm sure you're already thinking about. And then it goes back to the question earlier. We love to align our giving with our volunteer efforts as well. So a great way is really to engage our volunteer group. And that's a great way for us to really get to know your organization closely as well. So focus on the volunteer piece in addition to the funding request.
So we have, in my view, an open door policy, always willing to talk. So I can't believe I'm about to do this, but you can write to me at mike.goss, G-O-S-S, at toyota.com. Qualities we look for are collaborative spirit, ability to have impact, ability to align to our strategies, and if you don't, we'll have an honest conversation about that, but we're always happy to talk.
I'm the same as Jennifer in the sense of it's really through our volunteers. So they kind of drive, like I said, we gave them back the power. So it's really around what our employees want to put their efforts towards. So getting to know Thomson Reuters employees is really the best asset because they're going to help to drive this. From our leadership, we help to kind of help them to understand the opportunities in Dallas. So it's kind of twofold, but definitely through our employees.
Any other questions? Excellent.
So Wesley Randall from the University of North Texas. So let me ask you, we're very agile in what we're doing in Frisco. So what could we do for you in terms of if you could snap your fingers and we could figure out ways to prepare students to take positions in corporations like yours, charities, NGOs, or communities, what should we be building?
Is it okay if I start? Okay, so that's a big question, and I really appreciate that you're asking what you can do for us. Obviously, helping us build a talent pipeline is important, so having a creative conversation around that would be awesome. We have a great relationship with University of North Texas campus in South Dallas. If I can just tell about this real fast, we're trying to address like food desert problems down there on the south side. So Toyota, DART, and UNT partnered together to create a mobile food bank, a mobile food pantry to deliver fresh fruit and vegetables into these food deserts. So it's not just about getting food to these folks, it's getting healthy food to these folks. DART donated a natural gas powered bus, and the University of North Texas students are building the business plan and retrofitting the bus and turning it into a pantry, and will operate it. And that kind of collaborative experience to solve problems really gets me excited.
I would just say keep doing what you're doing, and congratulations on your recent nice gift. That was exciting for UNT and for our community. It's for us, we're very focused on the workforce of the future. So with over 13,000 associates in North Texas, over 7,000 of those are focused on tech and operations. And I think of the evolving workforce that we all know we're going to need, creative thinkers, problem solvers. So we always appreciate the partnership. I know we have a number of very specific programs. We're working with a number of higher ed organizations and even the school districts around preparing that workforce for the future. So I would say the opportunities to collaborate with you on that effort are always welcome.
We're excited about what we're about to do with you. So we're about to launch something at Thomson Reuters we haven't done before, and it's really about the customizable MBA program. And we are going to have our employees kind of choose their abilities to have an MBA that's going to focus and center on what they feel like they need. And it's going to be customized to where they actually take it. So they can take it at our office or they can take it at UNT Frisco. So it's very, very attractive. We have a lot of people interested in this, and it's going to be great. And to Jennifer's point, the technology pursuit is I don't think it's going to change anytime soon. My only ask from the academic institutions of the area is, like, can we get them faster? Like, I mean, I'll take them. Exactly. I'm looking at how to hire high schoolers, to be honest with you, because we need them that bad, that fast. So as quick as you can roll them out, we can get them in the door. Okay. We're ready for them. We're ready.
Yes. One more question, in the interest of time. One more.
Hi, this is Sangeet Rawley from Novi. We are a startup in the artificial intelligence space. You have deep pockets, whereas we are struggling to stand on our own feet. What advice would you have for companies such as ours to start doing stuff in the social sector now, so that as we grow, it's kind of ingrained in our DNA?
Great.
I would say just allow your employees the flexibility to go out and partner with these organizations. You may not have the deep pockets to provide funding, but as I think we all said, the volunteer aspect and the skill set that you can bring along to a nonprofit, that's a value, that's a monetary value that you can put towards that. So I would just suggest you figuring out what you're good at, your employees are good at, and partner alongside an organization that can really use those talents.
Yeah, same. I mean, it's repeating a message I said earlier, is stay in your lane, know what you're good at, and share that freely. And by the way, I think Americans see that as much more authentic way for a company to be engaged than just check writing. Americans we're skeptical by nature. When we do focus groups around the country and we ask people how Toyota should be engaged, they don't like the fact that they think we're just a check writer because we're just paying back for incentives, or we're trying to curry the favor of politicians, or just trying to keep ourselves out of trouble. But when you share what you do best, it's seen as authentic and impactful.
I would agree, and I think just asking the question, even if you're small and nimble at this point, ask the question of the people around you. At Bank of America right now, you may hear us asking the question, what do you want the power to do? That's the latest thing you'll hear from us. And the question is to turn that around and make you really think, right? So versus us telling you what you need, we want to hear from you. What do you want the power to do? I think you heard it throughout the panel today. Ask the associates around you, your team, what's important to them, and then focus on those things, and then build that culture now, because you're going to grow and to do greater things. And also know the bigger institutions are behind you. A big focus for us is investing in small business, so use those resources. We know by fueling the small up-and-coming businesses, that's going to have an impact on the community as well. So I applaud you for asking the question, and then of course use all your AI tech knowledge and share that with many of us too. Good question.
Let's thank the panel. Thank you guys so much. So before we leave, just two quick announcements. Tomorrow is Valentine's Day, but tomorrow is also the first inaugural Give for Frisco Day. Thanks to Mayor Jeff Cheney. He has proclaimed tomorrow as Give for Frisco Day. So choose your nonprofit of choice. Give them $14, $140, $1,400, $14 million. I mean, whatever you want to give, but we're putting it in the context of 14 in order to celebrate Valentine's Day and celebrate Give for Frisco Day. We also have a gift for each one of you. The Girl Scouts Association of America has chosen to give everyone a free box of cookies. Yay, more snacks. Oh, they're under your chairs. So sorry, they're under the tables. Oh, you get them on the way out? Or what? I'm so confused. On the way out. Pick up your cookies on the way out. So thank you so much to sci-tech for hosting this event, and thank you Cantina Laredo for the amazing food. Okay, guys, hang on. The museums are open until 2 p.m. today for free, so please tour. And again, thank you guys so much for coming, and we look forward to seeing you May 15th for the next Mayor's Business Roundtable. Thank you, guys.